In Vietnam, motorbikes and scooters are king. Everyone rides them. They're everywhere, and they're usually the most efficient way to get around. That's why so many tourists and expats choose to rent a motorbike. But most people don't actually have the right kind of license. To legally ride a motorbike in Vietnam, you need either a Vietnamese motorbike license or an international driver's permit that complies with the 1969 Vienna Convention. If you ride without a proper license, you risk getting fined. But far worse than that, no insurance will cover you if you cause damage or injury to someone else. And of course, you won't be covered yourself either, but that's your problem. If you injure someone else and can't pay for their medical care or compensation, you could seriously mess up their life. Taking that risk is not only reckless, it's downright unethical. So what's the solution? You rent a scooter or motorbike that's either electric or no more than 50cc. Last year, I rented a 50cc Honda Cup and absolutely loved it. But this year, I wanted to try an electric motorbike. And in Da Nang, the Motorbike Station is definitely the place to go. They offer two models where instead of waiting for the bike to charge, you just swap out the batteries. The first model, the EVGO D, has two batteries. It's not that big, but I think it has a really nice, sleek design. I gave it a try, but to be honest, it felt too small for me. And I'm only 1 meter 75 centimeters, or about 5'9". My knees were way too high up when sitting on it. So I chose the slightly more expensive but bigger and more powerful model, the SELEX CAMEL. It has 3 batteries and is actually designed to carry a lot of cargo, which makes sense in Southeast Asia, where you will often see things like even washing machines being transported on scooters. As of the time I'm recording this, the daily rental price is 150,000 Vietnamese dong. That's around 4.9 euros or $5.75. A full month costs 2,550,000 dong, which is about 83 euros or $98. The rental includes an app that shows you where to swap batteries. Here in central Vietnam, in cities like Da Nang, Hue and Hoi An, there are currently 10 battery stations. More are on the way, and they are also expanding into Ho Chi Minh City. Swapping batteries is quick and super easy. Riding the bike is simple and intuitive, especially if you've used a scooter or motorbike before. There are no gears to shift, it has great torque, and it's really quiet, almost silent. But that's fine. With all the general traffic noise here, other drivers won't hear you anyway. If you're riding through a quieter area with pedestrians, a quick tap on the horn is usually a good idea. According to the app, the top speed in sport mode is 70 km per hour, but you can adjust the limit through the app. I haven't tested the top speed myself. Traffic rarely moves that fast in Vietnam. Acceleration is great. You can pull away quickly at traffic lights or overtake someone when it's the safest option. You can also switch to eco mode, which caps the top speed at 30 km per hour and reduces acceleration. That extends battery life, but I personally don't use it. I need to be able to keep up with traffic in the city. Right after a battery swap, my range usually shows 110 kilometers. So far, that seems accurate for my riding style. I'm on the heavier side, but I drive carefully and not too fast, so I guess that helps save battery. Now let's talk about traffic in Vietnam, because it's very different from what I'm used to. First off, the sheer number of motorbikes is staggering, especially in a city like Da Nang. They are absolutely everywhere. Secondly, the horn is used constantly, mostly just to let others know you're there if you're unsure they've noticed you. Third, and this is important, people don't really care about traffic rules. What matters is that everything keeps flowing. The goal is to keep moving, ideally without stopping. You can almost think of it like watching ants move across a forest floor. It's smooth and continuous, they flow around each other, and they rarely collide. I'm not even sure the concept of right of way exists here. If it does, it's rarely observed. Cars and motorbikes almost never stop when coming from smaller side streets onto main roads. And one thing to really watch out for is this. When someone wants to turn right onto a bigger road, they don't slow down. They don't look. They just go. And it's expected that everyone else will make room for them. This applies to both cars and motorbikes. So, if you're new to driving here, be prepared. Don't expect others to stop or yield. Expect them to just pull out, and you'll need to adjust and give them space, or you'll get hit. If you're a beginner, I recommend starting away from the city center. Find quieter roads, both big and small, where there's not much traffic. That way, you can get comfortable with the motorbike itself before you have to deal with the more unpredictable traffic.
I have taken now my electric moped, whose name is Ellen, on the ultimate test, or I don't know if it's the ultimate test, but it's probably the toughest test that I will put her through. Last year I drove to the Highband Pass on a small 50cc Honda Cup, and it worked perfectly. But I didn't know if it would work until I had actually done it, because the very nice person, Chris from Just Bikes, who had rented it to me, said that this is not fit for the Highband Pass. But it was. And today I'm now taking Ellen to the same test, and I have two obstacles. If I have any obstacles, I have two. One is the range. I think that's going to be fine. Right now it says that I have an estimated range of 102 kilometers, and there are 11 kilometers to the summit, or 12 or so, something like that. So I think that even though it's going to be very steep uphill, Ellen will do it nicely. And I say that also because the estimated range I have found so far while driving is quite accurate to my normal driving style. So when I'm not driving upwards, when I'm driving around town, the estimated range and the kilometers I drive are matching perfectly. So for that, I am optimistic that 11 kilometers upwards should be doable with half or 70% of the 108 kilometers I have now. The other obstacle I may endure, and I think I will endure, is that the weather forecast says heavy rain. Some apps say from 2 p.m. and some apps say from 12. If it's 2 p.m. I'll be fine. If it's 12, I'll be wet. Right now the time is 11 a.m. But let's see how it goes. I'm really excited about this because to me the Highband Pass is the main attraction around Da Nang. I think it's so beautiful, and I think driving there is just such a nice drive. It's exciting without being feeling dangerous or risky. It's just a really beautiful, nice ride. This is now the actual mountain road that will go to the Highband Pass. There are some heavy trucks here because there's some road work, and my safety is more valuable than my time. So I would like to take absolutely no chances. Also, I know that it's not difficult to drive here. Driving up this road is not going to be difficult, and I might as well do it in a safe way. I'm not the only person who got this idea today, as you'll see from the traffic. So that honk was not meant to be aggressive. That honk was meant to tell him, I'm here and I'll now pass you, which is like 99% of all honks here, and there are a lot of honks, will be meant to warn people, to inform people, not to shout at them. One of the most beautiful parts of this whole trip is right here. It's actually behind the camera. This is one of the most beautiful views along the route. You see in front of us this very beautiful beach. I know you can get there, I'm not sure how. And then you see in the background the coastline, and you see all of Da Nang. And because I know this is wide angle, you won't be able to see all the details. I'm able to see the building I live in, but I won't point it out because you can't see it anyway. But yeah, isn't this something? So we're almost at the top, and it looks like it will rain very soon.
Efter 200 meter, du har nu nået destinationen.
Back at the Haiwan Pass with the coconut, almost a tradition because I did the exact same thing last year, except that was on the small Honda Cup that I loved, and this year it was on Ellen, and I always also love Ellen. It was an easy trip. I loved driving here on the Honda Cup, and I would definitely do that again, no problem. But I have to say that Ellen is an easier ride. We're here with 74 kilometers left on the estimate, and that is perfectly fine. This means basically it means that she consumed like twice or 2.5 times the normal amount of electricity when driving uphill, and really it was uphill. So if I wanted to, I could easily pass all the way through the Haiwan Pass on to the other side, where there's a battery charging station. And if it weren't for those really dark clouds that you see everywhere, I would do that and then take another road home instead of going through the Haiwan Pass home. I would take an easier road back home. But because there's still a chance that I will get home dry, and that's what I'll be aiming at. But Ellen has done a wonderful job, and once again, this trip up the Haiwan Pass, if you can ever do it, then do. And if you don't feel safe riding a bike on your own, even though this is a very safe bike, you can do what's called an easy ride. That means that someone else will drive the bike, and you'll be sitting in the back, and that's also very easy and very safe. And if that is too adventurous for you, then hire a car. Make a Grab driver drive you here. I don't know what the price would be, but my estimate would be less than $20 round trip. It's really worth it. So we go back. So after having ridden this bike for about 2 weeks, what's my conclusion? First of all, I would think it would depend on each person. their preferences, their temperament. But for me personally, I think it's a big success. I really love this bike. And the advantages to me are, first of all, that it's very easy to drive, and that also it's quick. The torque and the acceleration are strong enough to get me out of a situation if moving away is something that's the safest option. As you know, I don't drive very fast on it. You'll see in the clips that most other bikes are overtaking me, so it's not a matter of speed, but it is a matter to me of safety, that I can get away if I need to. Then I like that it's not noisy. I like that it's really silent, and that thing also brings another advantage that I've really come to like, especially now that I've had it for a couple of long trips to the Haivan Pass, and I was also in Hoi An. And that is that the engine does not send vibrations up through the seat and directly onto my butt. And that means that it's less tiring to drive it. I don't get a sore butt very quickly, which I will do on on the traditional motorbikes that I've ridden. Last year I had 3 different 50cc bikes that I rode here in Vietnam, and all 3 of them sent a lot of vibrations into my butt that made me tired and sore and made me not want to drive longer than, let's say, half an hour before a break, or tops 1 hour before a break. So I think that's a very big advantage. There are also, of course, some disadvantages, and the most obvious one is the range. For me here in Da Nang, it's no problem. I can swap my batteries so many places, and wherever I want to go in the vicinity of Da Nang, which includes Bana Hills, it would include Hue, it would include Hoi An, I can swap batteries, no problem at all. What I can't do is I can't plan a long road trip, let's say to Hanoi, because I would not be able to drive longer than 90 or 100 kilometers per day, and that's just not enough. So I would have to find accommodation, then after that range, and then charge my batteries, which will take somewhere between 6 and 8 hours as far as I know. So I mean, I could charge a bit on the way while I'm eating lunch or something, but not enough to really make a difference. So it's not really a good machine for that. The other thing is price. I don't think that this machine is expensive, but I do know that there are cheaper alternatives. If I would rent a 50cc, let's say a Honda Cup from Just Bikes by Chris is such a wonderful guy. So if you're looking for a traditional motorbike or even a bicycle, look up Chris and Just Bikes. Commercial over, it's not paid for. Anyway, I could rent a Honda Cup there. I'd say at least $1 million cheaper, maybe half the price of what I paid here. But then I would have to live with a bike that's a lot older than this one, where the brakes aren't really good, where it's noisy, where I have the vibration in my butt, where the instruments aren't really working. Last year I had to do without a speedometer, without an odometer, without a fuel gauge. But I had a cheap bike, it was efficient, it could take me anywhere I wanted, and I would save money if I made that solution. So yeah, let me know, what is your opinion after having watched this video? Do you think you'd like to ride an electric motorbike, or is it too soon for you, or is it just out of the question? Let me know in the comments what you think. Also, if you have an opinion on the evolution of motorbikes, because with electric cars, range has gone up, prices have gone down, the possibilities of charging, the infrastructure has become better. Do you think the same will happen to the electric bikes? Let me know in the comments. And of course, I would like you, if you give this video a like, I will be even more happy if you gave it a subscribe. And finally, if you smack the notification bell, oh, this would be such a happy little Dane on a bike. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next one.